everybody, Mac here, and what we have today are these. These are the last two figures that we have for the 7-inch Lanyard Walmart exclusive Predator line. We've taken a look at everything they had for Aliens, and now we are taking a look at these two, the last two of the Hunter series, you can see right there, for the Predator line. Now, like I said when we looked at the Alien Queen, the 12-inch Alien Queen, there is a 12-inch tall Predator, but he doesn't really fit in with the rest of this line. It's not like he's supposed to be an oversized Alpha Predator or the Super Predator or whatever they call him. He's just a big 12-inch tall Predator action figure with lights and sounds that doesn't really match up with the rest of these. So odds are I'm not going to get that because it just doesn't grab me. It doesn't fit with the rest of this. But what we have here are the last two for now. If it succeeds, they may come out with more. But what we have are the last two Predators. We have the Berserker Predator right here, and we have the Jungle Hunter right here. Which you can see he has this smoky, quasi-translucent look to him that's supposed to be him in mid-cloak. But we'll take a look more at that once we get him out of the box. Taking a look at the packaging, we see it's basically the same as the previous Predator figure that we looked at, and very similar to the Aliens packaging, where it's just a big box with a window in front, Predator collection, 7-inch tall, fully posable, and it has like this comic book, like almost Dark Horse looking artwork on the side here. You can see it rolls over to the corner, and on the back we have just a look at the figures that are inside. We have a look at some of the accessories that come with all of them. This is not unique to this one. This is not unique to this one. This is all of the accessories you can get from the three Predators. And even here, this little write-up, it's the same for both of them. So, on the side here, you see that we have all three of the Hunter series Predators, the Berserker, the Jungle Hunter, and the one that I opened that, for now, for some reason, I cannot remember what this was. I think it was the City Hunter. Yeah. So, with the packaging and everything out of the way, let's get these both opened up, and we will take a look at the Hunter series Jungle Hunter Predator and the Hunter series Berserker Predator. Alright, now friends, here they are out of the box. We have the Berserker Predator and we have the Jungle Hunter Predator. And interestingly enough, because of his coloring, you may not see all of the Jungle Hunter Predator. I don't know how it's coming through for you on the video, but looking through my camera, it looks like a lot of him is blending in with the background. So, hey, go Predator. Now, first thing we'll do, because we know these are 7-inch figures, we're going to take the tape measure to them, and they should come in at about the same height, let's set him back there, as the previous Predator and even the Alien figures. So we put the tape measure to the Berserker, and we see to the top of his dome, he actually comes in at just under 7.5 inches tall at the top of his helmet right here. And the Jungle Hunter comes in at a little shy of that. He's a little under 7.25 inches. So the Berserker is actually a little bit taller. Yeah, he is. He's a little bit taller. They still look eye to eye, but his helmet is has a higher crest than the other ones, which I think is kind of cool, that the one called the Berserker is a little bit bigger. Now, let's take a look at articulation. Once again, we're going to set the Jungle Hunter back since you can see the Berserker a little bit better. He has his head twist. Like I said with the previous Predator, I have no doubt he could probably do a full 360 if these dreads weren't in the way, and his plasma caster here. Look up a little, look down a little, not a whole lot of motion right there. His plasma caster does pivot just like the last one did. Arms come out to the sides. This piece over here, I'm surprised, actually it's molded in a way that the arm actually comes up and it doesn't interfere. I thought that was really good. I liked that. Do have full 360 twist, but he can't exactly reach like straight up over his head, as you can see. No bicep swivel, single jointed elbows with not a whole lot of travel to them, wrist swivel, no pivot up or down or in or out. There's a little bit, but I think that's I think I'm loosening it by doing that. I don't think it's supposed to actually do that. He doesn't have an ab crunch, but he does have a ball joint at the waist that lets him get a large range of motion out of that, which I think is pretty cool. Legs, let's get his arms up out of the way. Legs kind of do the splits, not really. They only go about that far. If you saw with the aliens when I tried to split their legs, one actually popped off. You could probably just pop it back onto the ball joint if that happens with the Predators. Legs go forward very much, not so much back. Single jointed knee, no thigh swivel, no boot cut. Ankles do twist, and there is some side-to-side rock, but you can see that there is a gap right there. Let me focus. Yeah, you can see that there's a gap right there if you try to rock the ankle too far out of the way. There we go. See that? So, that is the articulation, and to be honest, it's going to be the same on both of them. They have roughly the same range of articulation. Even the arms, well, the Jungle Hunter, this one doesn't come up quite the same height because he has this huge shoulder pad and then this mounting for his plasma caster. So his arm doesn't exactly come up to the same height, but everything else is about the same, and he has a little bit more up and down with his head. But that is it. That is the articulation. I want you to remember, just like I said with the aliens and just like I said with the first Predator we took a look at, these are $10 figures. These are $10 figures, and I think for the price, personally, I think they're great for what you get. Now, let's take a look at the Jungle Hunter first. Let's bring him forward. Once again, let me just raise the camera a little so we can take a look at his mask. Just like the previous ones, these masks don't come off, which for me is really the only missed opportunity with these figures. Like I said, I get that they're $10, but how cool would that have been if we would be able to pull these masks off and then even swap the masks between them, just like you can with their accessories and their weapons. This one, to me, other than these huge Horkin wrist blades that he has, which you can see these are mine are a little bit out of whack. Just have to heat them up a little bit to, or maybe they're supposed to be staggered like that. I don't know. See that? Might have to just heat them up a little bit. But to me, I think this one is the closest to the original Predator. The one from the Schwarzenegger movie, with the look and coloring of his face mask, the plasma caster, the accessory on his back. Even if you take a look at his wrist computer here, his detonation device, his final option, this looks the most, I feel, like the Predator from the movies. Just that the wrist blades are a little bit too long, a little bit too beefy to be from that original one. And even the name Jungle Hunter Predator, I think that's definitely harkens back to the first movie. You can see he has a lot of this smoky, quasi-translucent white plastic all over him that's supposed to be him in mid-cloak. I don't know how I feel about this, man, especially on the back here. Look at that. I don't know how I feel about this. On one hand, I think it's kind of cool that they did this mid-cloak look. On the other hand, part of me would have just liked to have had a fully translucent figure, maybe molded all in this smoky white, but I do like that it's not true translucent plastic, because hopefully that means it won't become as brittle as standard translucent plastic will become eventually. That I'm kind of hoping, yeah, even look at the design of the plasma caster here. That looks exactly like the first movie. I'm kind of hoping that this translucent, this smoky white, will maintain its look. It won't get like that yellowish stain to it. We'll have to wait and see. Only time will tell. But we'll take a look at that. We'll find out about that in a few years. Now we bring the Berserker forward. And one thing that I love about the Berserker is that he is made with that jawbone mask that we see sometimes. And I think in Predator 2 was the first time that we saw a mask that had a jawbone along the bottom of it. And that is such a mean look. I love that. I love that whenever they do that with the Predators. A Predator like that usually typically stands out, and he usually is the baddest boy on the block. His wrist computer isn't really detailed. As a matter of fact, I don't even think it's a computer. I think it's just supposed to be a gauntlet. And for some reason, the Berserker only has one wrist blade. And I find that interesting, that the Berserker has the least amount of blades on him. I would have really thought that they would have given this huge double-bladed to the Berserker and saved the single-bladed either for the Jungle Hunter or the City Hunter. I don't know. It just seems like an odd choice to me. One other thing, just like with the City Hunter, there was some questionable paint app. And once again, I understand these are $10 figures, but you see he has his armor down here, and he has this leather strap that comes around his waist that hooks up to the front of the armor, holding it on. And that's just painted green, the same color as his skin. I feel like that should have been like black, like this is, painted this black in here. That'll be an easy fix for anybody that's good at painting on their own. Just get some black, make it match up. It'll stand out, it'll pop a little. I do love this red on his thighs and this red right here on his chest. I don't know if that's supposed to be natural markings like birthmark. I don't know if that's tattoo. I don't know what that is, but I think it looks great, and I think the extra red on this predominantly green figure really makes it just pop and stand out. Also, another difference between this one and the other ones is this is the only Predator that has boots. If you look at the feet of the other two Predators, they're just open clawed feet. The Berserker has boots, which I think is another interesting choice for the one that's called the Berserker. Now, as far as accessories go, they each come with a accessory. We're going to look at the Berserker doesn't want to stand very well sometimes. You gotta futz with his ankles a little bit to get him to hold position. Okay, so we're going to look at the accessory that comes with the Jungle Hunter first, and that is this. Now, this is an interesting piece of equipment, I feel, because I think this is supposed to be a replica of a throwing weapon that the Predator used in Predator 2 when they were in the city. He had something like this, and like I said, it was a thrown weapon, but it was really small, like it was supposed to be like a throwing star or shuriken sized. If you take a look at this guy, and you can put it in his hand, and just like the spear on the previous one, this one fits really well. When he's holding it, it looks like a tuning fork. Like it's not exactly something that he would throw. So, I don't know. Do with that as you will. That one is probably my least... I feel like that's the least impressive of the accessories that come with these Predators. Now, the Berserker comes with this huge plasma caster bazooka. And this looks great when it's on him. You see it has this little mounting hole right here on the bottom. And if we bring this guy forward, his plasma caster pulls right off. You can see there's a little hole, little ball peg right there. And then you just pop this into position. And look at that. I wish it was painted the same color as his armor to match with his armor. I think I know why they did this, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I do think it looks great. Once again, I don't get why they give him this big Horkin plasma bazooka, which looks fantastic, this bone jaw mask, but then only one claw. Like that just really seems to that just really seems to stand out as like, what? I don't know. But the reason why I think they made him silver, they made this silver, is because I think you're supposed to be able to mix and match these accessories. So that, like, you could put this on another Predator. And I don't have pictures of it because it wasn't working out really well. But I took the Jungle Hunter here, the City Hunter here, and I popped his plasma caster off. And I was trying to put this on him, because I wanted to take the City Hunter and just deck him out with all of the weapons and show you like a fully armed up Predator. But the problem is, we move these out of the way, and we bring this forward. Look at the way the plasma caster sits on his shoulder. See how it's on this L thing? This is a ball joint right here, and you can pop this plasma caster off. That's not a problem. But I don't know if you can see right there where the plastic is starting to turn white, that when I was trying to push this down, it started to twist and turn, and I was legitimately concerned that I was going to end up snapping this thing off. I had to put it in boiling water to get even this piece to loosen up and pop back on without breaking that little stem. So, if you want to take this huge bazooka off the Berserker's shoulder and put it on the City Hunter who just fell over, you can do that. Just be very careful on how you do it so you don't snap the mounting of the other plasma casters. Because even this guy right here, with that long stem, I didn't even try to take this off and swap it out. I'm sure it has the same ball joint, and I'm sure the idea is that you could still put this on here. But after the issue I had with the City Hunter, I didn't want to try that with any of the other ones. So there we have it, friends. That is the last of the line, currently, for the Lanyard 7-inch Predator figures. Like I said, depending on how well this does, depending on how well Aliens does, they may come out with more further down the line, and there is plenty from both franchises for them to do to create another run of 3 more Predators, 3 more Aliens. You still have the possibility of them making a Predator sans his mask, a Predator with the mask off and his mandibles open, something like that. You have the possibility of some of the Predators from the original AVP comics that might have the lightning bolt symbol carved onto their forehead. You have the Pred Alien, the Alien Predator hybrid. That could be something that comes out. All in all, I think this is a great line. I think for $10, you definitely get your money's worth. I think you get a really decent figure for $10, to be completely honest. Like I've said before, these aren't going to compete with the NECA figures, but they're not meant to compete with the NECA figures. These are definitely something that are big and chunky and probably more geared towards kids than they are towards adult collectors. But hey, I wanted some Predators for my collection, I wanted some Xenomorphs for my collection, but I didn't want to spend $40 to $50 per figure to get them from NECA, and I really, really like these guys. Also, being at 7 inches tall, they do tend to scale up with things like G.I. Joe or Marvel Legends or things like that, because they are supposed to be a little bit taller than the standard human. So, we'll have to wait and see what we get. If we have more Predators coming down the line, if we have more Xenomorphs coming down the line, we just have to wait and see. So until that happens, play well, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.